All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 7. That is right, week number 7 of your 7314 class, which is your reference class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. Jace K. Austin, and what we are going to be doing today is we're going to have a quick state of the course update, and then I'm going to contextualize your Wikipedia edit assignment, basically explain to you why you're doing it, okay? Because it might come across as a weird assignment, but there is definitely a reason why this is actually my favorite assignment that I assign in any of my classes, and I'm going to tell you why that is, and then I'm going to tell you just a few things about Wikipedia and how it fits into the overall library landscape, and we're going to talk about a few other different nuances for Wikipedia. This one is not going to be a short one. It's probably going to be at least 30 minutes, but please go ahead and speed me up. It will definitely not be 30 full minutes if you speed me up, so there is no reason not to do that. Anyway, with that said, let's go ahead and jump into it. First, with that state of the course update. So what is on the horizon? That is pretty much what y'all probably want to know the most. And what I do want you all to be aware of is that you actually do not have another sync session until April 10th. My classes always either have 3 or 4 sync sessions, not a whole bunch of them. And we just had one on February the 21st, which was last week. So our last one is going to be on April the 10th, and we're going to talk about de-escalating risky situations and dealing with patrons who are being a little more adamant than we need them to be. Let's put it that way. I might be more willing to use less carefully chosen words as we get closer, but for now, let me just say yes. On April the 10th, Dustin Koopman, who is the head of security for the Mid-Continent Public Library System in Metro Kansas City, he will come and talk to us. He is also a former law enforcement officer. He knows a lot about security, and I think that it will be a very, very helpful and interesting presentation for you all. And I also hope that you all found Lisa Kincaid's presentation from the Wolfner Library interesting. All right, so what assignments do you have coming up? Well, I am still in the process of grading your virtual reference assignment. Sorry, I said virtual edit. Your virtual reference assignment papers, still in the process of grading those, and that will take me a few weeks to do because there are a lot of other things that we have going on, but you will get your grades soon. So the next major paper that you're going to have is the Wikipedia edit assignment, which is going to be due on March 10th. So you don't have a whole lot of time. It's going to be due pretty much in 2 weeks, okay? So that's why I'm doing this video now. But I will say that most of the students who have given me feedback as far as how long it took them to complete the Wikipedia edit assignment, it didn't take them very long, okay? So what I don't want you all to do is worry about thinking, oh, 2 weeks, that's not a lot of time, that's not enough time. It's going to be enough time. Usually people make their edit within a day and write their paper within a day. So usually people get through the Wikipedia edit assignment within 2 days time if they're really able to devote the proper amount of time in those 2 days to that assignment. The LibGuide is the assignment that's going to take a long, long time. And so I do want you all to kind of be aware of the LibGuide and the fact that it is going to take a long time, okay? All right, the last thing that I want to mention right now as far as state of the course updates, I do want you all to see the semester long project will be uploaded this week. I'm actually, I worked on it a little bit this weekend. I'm going to be working on it tonight. Hopefully I can get it up by Wednesday or Thursday, but it will be uploaded this week. And as soon as it's uploaded, you can go ahead and start working on it. You actually do not have another discussion board prompt due until because you had your week 5 one that was due on the 25th, which was Sunday, yesterday, given that I am recording this on the 26th. But your discussion board prompt number 6 is not due until April the 12th. So you've got over a month before your next discussion board prompt, and then you only have one in April and you have one in May, one that's due on May the 2nd. So yes, now is the time for you to switch gears. Now that you're not doing the discussion board prompts the way you were, now is the time to switch gears and start working on the semester-long project. And again, I'm going to have that uploaded this week. You have to do 7 questions. I mean, you have to do 40 questions. I'm sorry. And you have 7 weeks to do it. So basically, if you do about 6 to 7 questions per week, you'll be fine. If you pace yourself at 6 to 7 questions a week, you will finish in time. But you are more than welcome to work ahead. I've had students who just who weren't doing anything on their spring break, and they just knocked out the whole thing during spring break. If you want to do that, that's fine. You don't have to sacrifice your spring break to do that, but I'm just saying if you want to do it that way, that is fine. But just pace yourself. Again, if you do 6 to 7 questions per week, then you will finish on time. Okay. That is pretty much, that is pretty much it for the state of the course update. So yes, let's talk about Wikipedia. Okay. Give me one moment, pause. All right, so Wikipedia is an interesting resource, and it is a resource that a lot of reference librarians use a lot. So one of the things that I am going to do, the first thing that I'm going to do when we talk about our whole Wikipedia thing, is that I am going to try to dispel some notions for you. So, excuse me. So most of my students, I would say about 75, at least 75% of my students, when they start taking my class, they let me know that either in K-12 or in previous college, which, by the way, this will show how old Dr. Jace has gotten, because there really was no Wikipedia when I was in K-12, not that I'm aware of. I graduated from high school in 2001. Some of you I know were not born then. Don't rub it in. Thank you. But yes, so in 2001, when Dr. Jace graduated from high school, there was no Wikipedia. And what I have learned from teaching people who did grow up or did go to school in the age where Wikipedia existed is that they've been taught some things about Wikipedia that are not right. Again, I would estimate that probably about 75% of my students believe that Wikipedia is inaccurate, and it's not. And they've been told that Wikipedia is inaccurate by previous teachers or instructors or professors. And it is not. However, you would still not use Wikipedia for a formal assignment generally, okay? But there are 2 reasons for that, but those 2 reasons are not accuracy. And that's something that I want to drive home, okay? So, again, excuse me. All right, so Wikipedia is something that, again, a lot of reference librarians use. Now, what I'm going to do is first tell you why Wikipedia is used by a lot of reference librarians. And the fact of the matter is, and I've been told this by older librarians, believe it or not, even though Dr. Jace is up there, I'm not as old as a lot of the people that I've worked with over the years, okay? And so one thing that I will say is that a lot of when I was a very young librarian, and I was a librarian who had a lot of coworkers who had served as librarians before the World Wide Web even became a thing, one thing that they would do when they were first starting a reference interview or first fielding a reference interview was they would go to the print encyclopedias like Encyclopedia Britannica and those sorts of things. They would go to those encyclopedias to try to get some background information before they proceeded with trying to find the exact correct materials for their patrons, okay? So what Wikipedia does is it basically, in this sense, a lot of times on the reference desk, it is replacing what the old print encyclopedias used to do. Again, back in the day, we used to, or people used to start out the reference interview by going to the encyclopedias and doing a little bit of background research through the encyclopedias and then helping direct their patrons based on what they learned from the encyclopedias to the proper resources that the patron needed. These days, instead of starting with those print encyclopedias, what a lot of reference librarians are doing is they're going to Wikipedia. They're actually getting a lot more information, and it's a lot fuller. And they're also getting those links right there within the Wikipedia articles. So in that sense, Wikipedia is very, very effective for the reference librarian that needs to do a little bit of background research to kind of contextualize and figure out exactly what it is their patron is talking about. And when I worked on the reference desk, Wikipedia has always been a thing throughout my entire librarian career. But when I was working on the reference desk, yes, that is what I would do. I would start with Wikipedia, do a little bit of background research, find keywords, that sort of thing, plug those into library OPACs, and from there I would be able to actually find the resources that my students needed or that my patrons needed. Okay. Now, when we say all this, what we've got to come back to is the idea that Wikipedia is not inaccurate. Okay. Again, studies have been done on Wikipedia, and Wikipedia is actually found to be as accurate as Encyclopedia Britannica. So the peer review system that Wikipedia uses in order to keep things accurate, that peer review system actually really does work, and it really does work very, very well. Okay. So why, if Wikipedia is accurate, why can't we use it as a source in formal papers? And there are two reasons for that, and those two reasons are authority and stability. Let me explain. Again, those two reasons are authority and stability. We will start with authority. So usually when you look at an article, magazine article, journal article, newspaper article, whatever, book even, when you're looking at printed sources of information, or even if you're listening to a podcast or listening to a radio broadcast, watching a documentary, so forth and so on, usually you have credits and authority, and the authorship is pretty easy to determine. A lot of times on a periodical article, you will have a byline that will explain it was written by such and such. And so you will be able to sort of interrogate that. You will be able to do further research if you need to determine, okay, was this writer biased? Was this writer that they have an objective to be objective, or that they have an objective to, you know, kind of sway you, persuade you, that sort of thing. You can know from a byline whether or not somebody, well, not from the byline, but you can research somebody based on the byline and find out, okay, is this person actually somebody who's credible? Have they been discredited? Are they telling the truth? So forth and so on. And that is the authority thing. That is the authority concern. When you're dealing with Wikipedia, you are actually dealing with a resource where it's not very easy to tell exactly who did what as far as editing. You can go back and find out a lot of times. You can follow those top pages and everything and find out, okay, this person added this edit, this username added that edit, and so forth and so on. But it's still hard to determine, okay, this is who did this. Does this person have a bias? Does this person have an objective? Does this person have an agenda? And those are the things that you really can't determine readily with Wikipedia. So that is one of the reasons why Wikipedia is problematic, is as far as using it as a formal source, is because you cannot always determine who added what information and what their reasons behind it were. The second big reason why Wikipedia is not something that you want to use as far as when you're trying to cite information in a formal paper is that Wikipedia has a stability issue. And what I mean by stability is that Wikipedia can say different things. A Wikipedia article can say different things on different days. Okay. At different points of time, Wikipedia articles can say different things, and that means that they are unstable. So let me give you an example. If you were to, if you were to actually cite the American Kennel Club's page on Yorkies, what if you were to, cite their webpage, about the Yorkie dog breed, then typically what's on that page one day is going to be on that page many days later, months later, years later, so forth and so on. They might update the page, and when they do update the page, a lot of times it might even be given, the update might be given a new URL, so you can tell that this is new information. But a lot of times they will have this information was published on this date and that sort of thing on web pages. In addition to, you pretty much always have it in periodicals and that sort of thing. You pretty much always have copyright dates and printing dates on books and that sort of thing. And so, yes, even though, yes, newspapers and other periodicals, they do issue corrections to their content, but still, a lot of times those corrections come and they're labeled specifically, or within the article, like at the end of the article, there may be a footnote correction of some sort. If you're looking at something that's on the web, and then if you're looking at something that's in print, a lot of times the corrections come the next day, but the article has not been altered at all, the print version from the previous day, okay? So when you think about those sorts of things, you are thinking about those being stable sources. They're going to say the same thing on January the 1st, 2020, that they're going to say on January the 1st, 2030. Wikipedia does not have that stability, but that doesn't mean that Wikipedia is inaccurate. Let me give you an example. Let's say that Wikipedia had existed back in the 1980s. If you found a Wikipedia page in 1986 that said the Soviet Union is a nation, blah, 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 that would have been accurate in 1986. However, in 2006, as we all know, there was no Wikipedia. There was no Soviet Union in 2006. So if you saw a Wikipedia page that said the Soviet Union was a nation, in 2006, then that would also be accurate. So it would be accurate to say that the Soviet Union is a nation in 1986, but it would be accurate to say it was a nation in 2006. But you would be dealing with the same Wikipedia page, generally, saying those two different things. And that is because the source is unstable. The source has changed. That is not very good when you are actually trying to write essays or trying to write papers or trying to write dissertations and theses and that sort of thing. People need to be able to go back to the original source material and find out if the original source material said what is being cited. Okay, and so that is why that is the second reason why Wikipedia is not really a reliable source for a formal written paper, is because it can say one thing one day and one thing the next. And when you are trying to cite things, you do want that source material to say the same thing for the rest of time. Okay, so those are the main reasons why Wikipedia has issues as far as not being usable for formal written papers. But that, again, does not mean that Wikipedia is inaccurate. It is not any less accurate than your other widely available encyclopedias. Okay, and let's talk about a few other things, some things that I want to kind of soapbox on, but some things that I want to mention so that it's clear how important Wikipedia is and what librarians can be doing with it, and information professionals can be doing with it. So, pause. First of all, well, actually I didn't pause, but there's no need. One thing that I wanted to tell you all about was the Wikipedia Edit-a-thon. Yes, the Wikipedia Edit-a-thon, and this was published today. I am recording this on February the 26th, 2024. So this was published today, and this is talking about an edit-a-thon. What Wikipedia edit-a-thons are basically where people who are librarians or information professionals or who have extensive knowledge in a field, whether they are grad students within the field or they're professionals in the field or they are professors and teachers within the field. But edit-a-thons are a time where people set aside actual time to go in and improve those articles. So I've seen a lot of medical edit-a-thons over the years, and basically you'll have like doctors and nurses and people in like med school students and that sort of thing, and librarians. And they just devote this time. They carve out this time. And what they do in that amount of time is they go into those Wikipedia articles and they improve them. They add information, they update information, they take bad information out. And that's what these edit-a-thons are all about. And the purpose of these edit-a-thons is because Wikipedia is probably the most heavily used information source in the United States. It's very easy to just hop on Wikipedia. It's a free resource. It's very easy to just hop on, get a lot of easy to digest information right there at your fingertips. And you can even go down a rabbit hole with Wikipedia and start learning about things that you did not intend to learn about when you first started researching on Wikipedia. That is just how that resource works. And that's one of the amazing things about that resource. But these editathons give professionals an opportunity to just get better information out there to the public. And I will include this, I will include the link to this editathon announcement in the announcement for this check-in video. This editathon is specifically dealing with Native American women, activists, and environmentalists. So what they're probably going to do is target people, target women who fall into this category and devote that time to improving articles about or adjacent to these women who were Native American women and that activists and environmentalists. And really, you will see if once you enter into librarianship, you'll probably get on a lot of library listservs. We're all on a bunch of library listservs, more than we want to be on. But once you get on these library listservs, you will see editathon announcements come on these listservs a lot. And so if you see a editathon that deals with something that you actually want to be a part of and that you want to be involved in improving something about, then by all means, yes, by all means, just say, okay, this is an editathon that I'm interested in participating in. Reach out to the people that you need to reach out to and join in. You as a library school student are just as qualified to participate in these editathons as the as the librarians or as the archivists or as the field professionals or as the field grad students, okay? So that's something I want you all to think about, and I hope that all of you participate in an editathon at some point in your professional careers. Now, what I want to do from here is show that this is actually a form of, this is a subtle form of activism, is to actually improve Wikipedia, pages. So what you'll see here, Wikipedia, I will also note, has a very strong gender bias. The accomplishments and the contributions of women are not captured within Wikipedia as fully as those of men. And so this was Jessica Wade was somebody who noticed this, and so she improved the Wikipedia bios or she either made or improved the Wikipedia bios for more than 1,000 unknown female scientists. And folks, this is activism. This is activism. This is the type of stuff that if you want to get involved with activism within your librarian careers, I have a lot of thoughts on activism within librarianship that we don't have time for right now, and that's outside of the purview of this course. But I would say that this is legitimate activism that you all could do as information professionals without stepping out of your expertise or outside of what you should be doing. And this is something that a lot of librarians can do and contribute to very, very well, is to, ramp up or vamp up the information related to women or the information related to other historically marginalized groups that have not been served as well through the Wikipedia resource as well white men generally are, and men generally are more broadly. Okay. All right. So that's what I want you all to focus on and kind of get your bearings on and that sort of thing, is to know that this is the type of activism that librarians actually can do without being outside of their expertise. Okay. So I'm going to put this into the announcement as well, and I'm probably going to put some information related to Wikipedia's gender bias within this announcement as well. One last thing that I want to mention, and this is something that I actually find scary. So you may note that earlier I was talking about, okay, the peer review system within Wikipedia currently works. It currently does its job, and it currently makes the information highly accurate. But what happens when that's no longer the case, right? All right. So what happens if we get to a point where, because we know that there are trolls on social media. We know that there are troll farms on social media. We know that the governments of China and Russia have attempted to use social media to cause political upheaval within the United States. And the United States has probably done the same thing to other nations. What if Wikipedia can also be one of those resources that can be used to start to create that type of upheaval, okay, and that type of disunity? And when I talk about this, a person of interest to me is Stephen Pruitt. Have you heard of Stephen Pruitt? Well, if you haven't, you might want to learn who he is, because he has probably played some part in the information that you consume. So this is a picture of Stephen Pruitt here from a couple of years ago, from 3 years ago, 2021. And Stephen Pruitt has been listed as one of Time Magazine's most influential people. And Stephen Pruitt has made at least 4.4, and this is 2021. He's still doing it, so he's way beyond this number now. But in 2021, he had 4.4 million Wikipedia edits to his name, and he has also created hundreds, if not at this point thousands, but a few years ago he had created hundreds of original Wikipedia articles. This is somebody that nobody has heard of, somebody that is not necessarily accountable to anyone or working for anyone. And yet this is somebody who has played a large role in the information that Americans are consuming every single day. And that worries me. It worries me that somebody who is acting independently, and somebody that we don't know much about and don't know what his motives are and that sort of thing, blah, 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 blah. This is somebody who is really, really influencing the information landscape heavily. And yet we don't know very much about him. Now, I will say, when I first started talking about Stephen Pruitt, there wasn't even a Wikipedia page about Stephen Pruitt. And now there is. Okay, so now there is a page, a Wikipedia page about Stephen Pruitt. Over 5 million edits at this point. One of the most important influencers on the internet, and yet people a lot of times aren't even aware that this man exists. And this is something that scares me. I think that, I don't trust a lot of the information that is made available to us on a daily basis, including I don't trust a lot of that information that's coming on cable news. And even as somebody who is a liberal, I don't trust a lot of what we get from MSNBC, because I think it's tailored. The same with CNN, the same with Fox, the same with News, whoever, OANN, if they are still in existence, News Nation, that's what I was thinking of. There are a lot of different cable news outlets, and I don't trust any of them, and it worries me that so many people are tuned into them like 24/7. I really think that it's putting us in a bubble of self-confirmation, right? But, yeah, this is, when I talk about not trusting information from these various sources, at least I still know what the agendas are of these people. I know what the agenda is of Rachel Maddow. I know what Sean Hannity's agenda is. And even these people who have been removed from those big platforms and are on smaller platforms now, Don Lemon, Tucker Carlson, Bill O'Reilly, I know what their agendas are. I don't know what Stephen Pruitt's agenda is. And that's what worries me. This is somebody who has a lot of influence on the information landscape in this country. And we don't know very much about him, and we certainly don't know what he hopes to do with all of these Wikipedia edits, what he's hoping to accomplish. Now, I do want to say a few other things, and some of you may accuse me of being a little mean for saying and doing what for saying what I'm about to say. But my heart is in the right place. If you think that I'm speaking inappropriately here, again, my heart is in the right place, even if you think that I'm going about what I'm about to say wrong. But another issue that I have with Stephen Pruitt is an issue that I have with a lot of librarians, and I am going to talk about this very quickly as well. So Stephen Pruitt is actually younger than me. I was born in 1983. So I'm a year older than him, or maybe just a few months older than him. I'm not exactly sure when his birthday is, but I'm 40 years old. Okay, I was born in 1983. My 41st birthday is this year, but it has not come yet, and I'm going to claim 40 until I no longer can. All right, but Stephen Pruitt here, he's younger than me. And yet I think that if you look at us side by side, that doesn't necessarily look like it's the case, okay? When I first saw Stephen Pruitt, and this is Stephen Pruitt from a couple years ago, so he's definitely still in his 30s in this picture. And again, I'm not trying to be mean, but one thing that worries me with a lot of librarians is that they make information their entire life, and they don't socialize, and they don't get enough sleep, and they don't exercise, and they don't eat healthy. And these are some things that, again, it won't be popular in this day and age, but I'm still going to say it. I think that librarians really should be trying to strive for work-life balance. Now, I guarantee you, this man who has created or who has made 5 at this point 5 million edits to Wikipedia and has created hundreds, if not thousands, of original articles. This is somebody who I assure you does not do a lot of socializing or a lot of exercise. Okay, this is something that he probably also deprives himself of sleep of. There's just no way that you're doing all of that and still maintaining balance in your life. Now, it's his right to do that, but what I'm going to say is, you know, don't get to a point where you're working yourself to a point where you're just working yourself to an early grave, where you are giving the information profession everything about you, and you neglect your health, your mental and your physical health in the meantime. I never want that to be any of you. While you're in this program and throughout your careers, please try to get as much sleep as you need. Please try to exercise. I know that especially when you're both a student and you're working full time, exercising is hard, but you don't have to go run a mile. There are things that you can do for like 10 to 15 minutes that can help sync your mind with your body, and that's really what you need. It can be stretching. It can be something very low impact. You don't have to do Pilates. You don't have to do combat yoga. You don't have to, I practice martial arts, but you don't have to get that intense with what you're doing. You can do something like even just stretching and meditating. That is still exercise, and that still helps you sync your mind and body, and that still keeps you healthier so that you're not looking older than you actually are, which, you know, I also don't know, Stephen Pruitt very well could have some sort of disability or some sort of illness, but I do think that he is somebody, if I'm keeping it honest, who looks older than he actually is, and that's never how you want things to be. Okay, so please take care of yourself. I'm not sure that Stephen Pruitt is somebody who's taking care of himself, but I want you all to always take care of yourselves. So let's leave it there. We're going to be leaving it at 34 minutes, which isn't too bad. Again, I hope you sped this up. As always, I am Dr. Jace, and please do not let your physical or mental well-being go to waste. I care about all of you. I'll see you next week. Thank you.